Good day everyone, hello. My name is Anthony Delcross, I work for the Scottish Whisky Society. I'm an activations executive and today I'm at the Bath Street venue in Glasgow and I'm going to be tasting some delicious new Vault Collection whiskies that we'll be releasing very soon. These will be sold as a pair and individually. So our spirits team, headed by Hugh and Campbell, head of whisky creation, have decided to take one of our Oloroso butts from distillery number 53 and actually split it in two different types of casks. So they took it at the age of 27 years and split it 50-50, some in a first fill ex-bourbon and some in a first fill rye cask. So the difference between rye and bourbon is really just the mash bill. More corn content in the bourbon and a higher rye content in the rye whiskey cask. So you would think that it would probably impart some different flavors, different aromas, and you can already see that once it went through the tasting panel, they were actually put in different flavor profiles, so it already kind of shows that there is a distinct difference between these two. I've decided to start with the ex-rye cask first, which is from the Old and Dignified flavor profile. So this one is number 53.432. So straight away we can notice a really nice vibrant golden color coming through. Yeah, very, very appealing. So on the aroma, I completely agree with the flavor profile for this whiskey. Even though it's a peated spirit, we're definitely on the Old and Dignified category here, just because of its kind of rich complexity. With we've got some kind of notes of rancio, which is it's quite a distinctive flavor for anything that's quite aged, which probably that would come from the sherry influence. And then there is something a little bit vegetal that's really interesting. What I find about this whiskey is that we've lost a bit of its smoke and we're doing a huge emphasis on the earthy, vegetal peatiness of the whiskey, which is something that doesn't happen that often from that distillery. There's usually a very big focus on the balance of peat and smoke, so that is something that brings something quite unique out of this whiskey. And I can't stop getting back to that vegetal note, and anyone that is into agave spirits, it kind of reminisces of that kind of aroma. It's quite fun. Very nice sweet palate. Now the smoke is a little bit more present on the palate, and that great distinct nuttiness at the end. Absolutely delicious finish. So personally, I'd be very happy to drink this neat, but for the purpose of this analysis, I'm going to dilute it. Started with a little bit of water and kind of maybe work my way up if I think it needs a little bit more. But honestly, it's just perfect as it is. So just a few drops. And now there is something a little bit more. There's some kind of tobacco notes that are a little bit more present with that rancio that comes out a little bit more again. But definitely leather, cigars. So these are all the kind of the most typical flavors and aromas you could get from Old and Dignified flavor profiles. It's a great representation of that flavor profile. And the water will bring out something a little bit more juicy. Now the American oak is starting to draw out a little bit more, so these kind of like creamy, sweeter notes are coming through. So this is definitely a dram that deserves a lot of time, and you can sit down and really appreciate all its kind of distinctive intricacies about this whiskey. Overall, diluting it did bring out new flavors. It didn't necessarily improve it, but you are experiencing something a little bit different from the whiskey. So I think I would actually recommend diluting it as well. It's a fun experiment. But neat, it had a little bit more impact through the kind of vegetal earthiness on the aroma. But like, I think it's like a 10 out of 10 really. It's just absolutely delicious. It's those kind of flavors that you you have to wait for about 3 decades to experience. So now we're going to try the second 53, which is the 53.431, which was matured for the last 4 years in the first fill ex-bourbon cask. And so now this is quite fun because we're leaning a lot more on the smoky side of Distillery 53. That nice kind of smoky, ashy peatiness. And a lot of nice kind of fruity sweet notes initially. And this one, we're on something a little bit fresher, a little bit sweeter in terms of we're on chocolate coated bananas and that kind of similarity with the smoke that lurks through. But a little bit fresher, a little bit more mineral. There's something a little bit more refreshing that comes out from this dram compared to the 432. And the nose opens up again. I thought I could try to give it a second chance here. Just pouring the dram, sometimes you need to let it breathe a little bit. Initially there's a lot of alcohol, a lot of the kind of smokiness from the peat. And then we're getting a little undertones of the sherry now that are coming out. So that rancio is coming back. So if there's really a link between the two in terms of aromas, it's that note of rancio, which is a typical mark from sherry casks. And I'll try it with a bit of water. So same again, I could gladly have this without water. And usually when it's peated, I do appreciate it without water. And so now we've kind of tamed the smoke a little bit and the presence of the sherry is coming out. And it just keeps coming back to me, just chocolate coated bananas. And a really nice clean mineral salty finish, which is also kind of a staple from this Islay distillery. I think the divergence between these two whiskies is very distinct, and it's a really fun experience to actually have them together. Even though they're linked from the same distillery, from the same cask, there's truly a difference between the two, and it's something that's really fun to experience. I would say we don't do this that often. We've done it in the past, a few years ago for our 35th anniversary with the Jazz Trio, but who knows when we'll do this again. So it's definitely worth being part of this experience.